So good afternoon. Well, I hope you can do better than that. I'm a Black American, happen to be the granddaughter of a minister, and in my culture, when we call, we like you to respond to feel welcome. Good afternoon. Thank you so much for that wonderful response, and also the wonderful invitation to be here this afternoon, and the great introduction. And how about a round of applause for Carl for a great celebration that he's done to help us here. I've been so fortunate to be spoiled from folks like Christy and Marquette and Emma and Jay and many of the others that made this visit very special for me. It's great to be in this part of the country. Several years ago, in fact, a long time ago, I had the privilege of taking some summer school classes at Tennessee Tech and had a chance to be in Tennessee. But it's so important now to know that we have several states that are here representing, and it's important for me to say thank you. I get to North Carolina quite frequently as a board member of the Duke University School of the Environment, Nicholas School of the Environment, and so it is my pleasure to be here. As a board member of the Nature Conservancy, Ducks Unlimited, as well as the Chesapeake Bay Foundation and others, I have the privilege often to be with leaders. And today, this doesn't happen often, where two of my fellow board members are here in the audience, both of which are chair of two very important national environmental organizations. In the audience, you have Mr. John Robbins, who is the board chair for the National Wildlife Federation. Yes, John is here. And John lives in the area, and you have a new resident now in this part of the country. Ms. Gail Carmody serves as the national president of the Student Conservation Association. Give her a round of applause. We really appreciate when we get people to stand up to leadership. It's not often. Now, as a former professional fish and wildlife biologist, as a regional director, as you've heard, of the Northeast region here in the Northeast, a Black pioneer, a girl raised in the South. I am a grit. And the former chair of the Commission for the Department of Wildlife Resources in the Commonwealth of Virginia. As you can imagine, having worked for 5 presidential appointees, as well as being the baby of the family, I have been called many names. But the one that I'm most proud of is the Celebration Queen. And so when I got this opportunity to come here this afternoon to celebrate, because queens, celebration queens, they bring joy, they bring excitement, and they try hard to uplift the audience. I've already been uplifted as I heard about the wonderful accomplishments, 90,000 acres, as I heard about many of the great things that you all are doing. And being a fish queen, as well as a celebration queen, when I hear about trout and other streams that you have either restored or protected or looking out for, it's really important for me to say I'm grateful. But I'm also grateful as a celebration queen to say that we should all one more time give the staff a round of applause for all the great work that they've done. Join me in doing that. Pretend you're at a concert, your favorite concert. Yes, yes, round of applause. This is a celebration here today. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much for all that you do. 50 years. 50 years of people and partners, volunteers, 50 years of donors, 50 years of board members and biodiversity, 50 years of innovation, 50 years of protection, stewardship, and connecting. 50 years, and I had to determine how many minutes that was. How many hours that is. 50 years, 438,300 hours. 26,298,000 minutes. Shall I repeat that? 438,300 hours. a lot of hard work and dedication. We're celebrating a symbol of unity here and having the privilege of working throughout the country and having the privilege to go and appreciate the outdoors. As an avid angler and hiker and just as a worker, I know how important it is when we talk about the symbol of unity and how important partnerships are. In the Smoky Mountains, the Highlands of Rowan, the Appalachian Trail, the Black Mountains, the Blue Ridge Parkway, the French Broad River Valley, 50 years. And so today I'm going to be brief, but I want to talk about 50 years of passion, 50 years of inspiration, and 50 years of excellence in terms of ecosystems, mountains, farms, streams, and habitat. Now, a lot of times when I stand up, people wondering, where did she come from? I'll tell you. My mother was a sharecropper and a maid in the Mississippi Delta, one of the other poorest regions in this country. And she had already had 5 boys and 5 girls. And she was about to have her 11th child. And she said, I'm hoping this is the one who wants to go outside with me. Because she was a great botanist as well. My grandmother, her mother, was also a great angler and appreciated the outdoors. My grandmother was a slave that lived for 78 years, migrated from Virginia all the way to Arkansas through Georgia and North Carolina. Some roots right here in this area. They all loved nature. And so today I acknowledge my ancestors and I tell them and I say to them that you've done the same for your ancestors. We understand our assignment, how important it is for us to do great work to protect many great areas, like the national forest lands that are all around here. Working closely with the Conservation Fund and the states, the various public and private partners for clean water and pure waters for generations to come. We understand our assignment because we have passion. And I know there's a lot of passion out there, and in fact, I'm going to see how much passion is out there, and I'm going to do what we often do in our culture. We tell you to look at your neighbor and say, how many of you love this area and you love what it's all about? Raise your hands. Look at all the hands in the air. And listen, now look at your neighbor now and say, I'm just a love machine. Passion. I'm just a love machine because this is what we're talking about, passion here. This is what we're talking about. And then second here, I stand here at this milestone, the essence of passion, but also the inspiration of your 50th anniversary and how important it is because you've transformed people. You've transformed landscapes. The passion, the journey of over 5 decades that you've been there and you've been the heartbeat of many of the partnerships that have been in play. And that's really important because you filled a lot of commitments to protect the lands and the waters for future generation. You have the passion, you understand your assignment. And then you know about partnerships, we talked about those earlier and how important they are. Inspiration, passion, then inspiration. This is going to spell pie when I'm done, if you haven't figured it out. In the 9th grade, my 9th grade teacher introduced me to a man that changed my life. I never got a chance to meet him, but I had every album that he wrote and sang on. That wasn't James Taylor, but he is my second favorite. It was Marvin Gaye. And Marvin Gaye had an album that was Mercy, Mercy Me. And it said, things are not like they used to be. He said, what happened to the blue skies? And he said, radiation in the air. And he said, fish full of mercury. That was about 50 years ago that I heard that song. And then in the voice of Arnold, I said, what you talking about, Willis? Fish full of mercury. My diet, the protein in my diet was all about fish and whatever else we could find on the land. And it was here that I know that many others in the audience, that you get connected to the land. And you know, like my mother told me on Bayou Bartholomew and Lake Enterprise in southern Arkansas and northern Louisiana on the Mississippi River, and she said, saving nature to save ourselves. And that's what this is all about too. It's great for us to do great things for wildlife and fish. It's great for us to think about that. But how do we touch the lives of others and convince them the way that Marvin Gaye and my high school teacher convinced me that this is important because we need to do this to save ourselves? And I look around the audience and I love seeing many women in the audience, because when I started my career at the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, after leaving Arkansas and moving to Wisconsin, then on to Minnesota and Missouri, back to Minnesota and over to Georgia and Massachusetts and many of the other places, I know how important it is for us to stand our grounds and make sure that there are others that are like us that are doing that. So when I look in the audience, I'd love to come back here. I won't probably make it 50 more years, but when I do, I hope we can celebrate an audience that has a lot more cafe au lait and a little chocolate. That's exactly what our success should look like as we move forward. Not just for ourselves, but we know that we need advocates. We need folks to go and support and promote the Land and Water Conservation Fund, or the outdoor, whatever it's called now. I forget what it's called, but we need people to do that. We need individuals like many that are in the audience that have done great work. A couple weeks ago, I had the pleasure to be on Ted Turner's farm, his ranch in Montana. And it was amazing because my cell phone didn't work. And here's when we know, again, the inspiration of the outdoors. Passion, but inspiration. Because as I think about the fact that I didn't have a phone, but when I think about how divided this world is now, that one thing that brings us together, regardless to what political party we're in, what race we are, geographic location, nature brings us all together. And we have many of these properties that you've just mentioned because of that. And I put down my phone, I went outside, started interacting with others. It's amazing how it lowers your stress level, boosts our moods, and make ourselves and our community stronger. And that's what you've done over the last 50 years. And as I close, I talked about passion, inspiration, and last but not least, excellence. And it's so important as we think about excellence, we think about excellence in access and making sure that you continue to do the great work in the next 50 years to make sure others will have access to many of those fishing sites where you can also make sure that they catch some great trout and other species out there. Understanding your assignment. Excellence, of course, in hiring some great people, and I had the privilege of meeting the next generation of conservationists with the interns. And how about if we would give them an applause for choosing us? We need them there. 50 years ago, they weren't all there. 50 years ago, I didn't see as many women. I started my career about 45 years ago now, and there weren't very many women. But I tell you, because of the excellence in understanding and looking ahead, and a few good men hiring some good women, we have collaboration now, and I think that's important. Excellent understanding that we deserve to live in a healthy and equitable environment, and how important it is. And my journey took me there. My journey brought me here. And as I close, looking ahead, and we celebrate this wonderful, momentous occasion, we need to draw on our inspiration from our past achievements and look forward to future and renewed determination. Renewed determination. Our work today ensures that youth of tomorrow will inherit a world rich in natural beauty, that they can continue and understand their assignments. And so, again, how do we do that? If we're ready to stop allowing fear to keep us from moving ahead, fear, false evidence appearing real. If we are ready to create more non-traditional partnerships, if we are ready to stop procrastinating and allowing fear to paralyze us, I promise you that our path going forward will continue to be transformative. Our path going forward will be a wonderful anniversary to celebrate in the future. So I want to say to all of you all that are here in the audience, and more importantly to the Conservancy, happy birthday, and I'm glad that you were born. And as I close, I always close with some remarks related to my personal life. It was about this time, about 15 years ago, when my husband was diagnosed with stomach cancer at the age of 50. We're almost sure it was because he was near a toxic waste site, that he grew up near a toxic waste site where he grew up. And he had stomach cancer, and the doctor said, "You're pretty young to have this. We don't know what happened." Well, he had a few months to live. In fact, about 3 to 4 months. And I remember one day talking to him saying, "I don't know, this is going to be hard to live without you. It's going to be really, really tough." And he said, "Mamie, remember those words of your mother that she gave to you and inspired you?" And he said, "And what about that song that she taught you that really encouraged you to keep going and growing?" And so as I close, that song is what I ask you all to do as you think about your next years, your capital funds, and all of that. That song is Row, Row, Row Your Boat. Help me sing it and I'll sit down. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Row, row, row your boat gently down the stream.
Merrily, 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 life is but a dream.
All right, now I ask one more time. And you know what? I usually ask those Barry White voices to come in and sing. And you know, because I really believe, I talked about how great women are, but we also have a lot of great men. And a lot of times, poor white men, they've had it hard these days. And they're not all that bad. We need to celebrate them. So I want them to sing, and I want you guys to, ladies, I want you guys to silently cheer them on. No grinning, no laughing, silently cheer them on in that Barry White voice. Because that song has many meanings. And this time when we sing it, we're going to be thinking about it. It says, roll, 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 don't stop. Roll, 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 don't quit. And then it says, roll your boat. Tell your neighbor to roll your boat. Roll your boat. Roll your boat. And then it says, gently. And that means we don't have to do everything Rambo style. You all didn't do that to get many of the acres and preservation you had. Gently, and then it says down the stream. That means keep moving. Will Rogers said, you could be on the right track, but if you're not moving, you'll get run over. Keep moving. Madagascar, I like the move it. Down the stream. And then it says merrily. That means that we can choose happiness. Choose happiness. And then it says life is but a dream. And I dream that we will come back 25 years from now and celebrate even more accomplishments. And so let's hear the guys sing as I sit down here. 1, 2, 3. Row, row, row your boat
Gently down the stream.
Yeah, you go.
Merrily, 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 life is but a dream.
Yay, give them a round of applause. Yes, yes. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Again, thank you and happy birthday. Happy anniversary. Again, passion, inspiration, and excellence. Passion, inspiration. And remember, I can, I will, I must. Repeat after me. I can, I will, I must. I can, I will, I must. Thank you so very much. My pleasure. Now you're going to get to hear from my brother here who's going to give you another good speech.